It now being 7:03, the meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Town of Orleans is called to order. Present, I'm constituting a quorum, are myself, Michael P. Marnick, the chair, Beth McCartney, Rolf Soderstrom, regular members, Matthew Cole and Greg Delory, regular members, and associate member William McCarthy. First item of business is the public hearing in the case of 1956, the application of Robert J. Plum III for a special permit is set forth in General Laws, Chapter 48, Section 9, under Orleans zoning bylaw, Section 164-21A, Note 5, to construct a boat barn and screen porch resulting in greater than 4,000 square feet of building coverage. This property is located at 164 Barley Neck Road, Orleans, map 57, parcel 8. Are any members of the board, I should also note that at this hearing, also present is the board secretary, Sandy Stewart, and the building commissioner of the town of Orleans, Brian Harrison. Are any members of the board disqualified by reason of a conflict of interest prohibited by law? Have any members of the board communicated with the applicant or any interested parties? There's no negative response. I declare that the board is impartial and indifferent. Voting on the application of the regular members in attendance and associate member, Mr. McCarthy. With all those intending to testify in this hearing, swear or aver that the testimony they're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Very well. Mr. Little, are you appearing as agent for the applicant?
I am.
Can you tell us why this application should be granted?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Ryder and Wilcox has worked with Bob Plum and his family for probably 17 years now. Their family has lived at this end of Barley Neck for a long, long time. I don't know how long, but we have represented them 3 previous times before the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the reason being is that they have several buildings on a very large lot, which result in the triggering the 4,000 square foot coverage requirement in the zoning bylaw. This house, the main house, is one of the oldest houses in the Barley Neck area. It dates back to the early 1700s. They are proposing to build a boat barn and a screen porch, which results in further exceeding the 4,000 square foot building coverage that presently exists. I just provided a handout to the commission. They not only own, Bob and his family not only own 164 Barley Neck, but they also own the abutting lot at 10 Primrose Lane. The tennis court, which is shown on this handout from the town GIS map, extends, it actually crosses the lot line between 164 Barley Neck and 10 Primrose. So the reason I'm pointing this out, that the acreage of both lots combined is 3.66 instead of just the 3.09, which we are referring to in the application because it is considered a separate lot. The proposed boat barn will be located 96 feet from the closest abutter, almost 4 times the required 25-foot setback requirement, and the screen porch will be located over an existing deck. I would also like to point out in the photograph that I gave to the board, there are 2 adjoining lots on Orissa Drive, one with a house on it and one that's vacant, abutting lots I should say. These are owned by Bob Plum's mother and Bob Plum's sister. So it's quite a family compound. With respect to the special permit criteria, the lot size of 3.09 acres is adequate for the proposed boat barn and porch. The site is suitable for the increase in building coverage. The resulting coverage of 4.5% is well below the 15% maximum allowed. There would be no new impacts on traffic flow and safety. Impact on neighborhood visual character. There would be no impact on neighborhood visual character as the property is well screened from both Barley Neck Road and Primrose Lane, and the additions are in keeping with the architectural styles of the neighborhood. The property is served by a Title V system that was installed several years ago, town water, and all, as you could see if you visited the site, all stormwater runoff is contained on the property. The property has the benefit and use of all available utilities. There would be no noise other than temporary impacts during construction, and a dumpster will remain on site during construction to contain any construction debris. As to the impacts of groundwater quality, recharge volume, and water quality of coastal and freshwater bodies, I contend that these valuable resources will not be impacted by the project. So the existing building coverage is 4,963 square feet, and we are going to 6,501 square feet, from 3.68% to 4.49%. The barn itself will not have any utilities, I should take that back. There will be electricity, but there will be no plumbing or water associated, but there will be electricity. And the screen porch is connected to the existing dwelling right where the chimney is. And I provided you with plans that were prepared by Russ Bassett showing what the screen porch will look like and the boat barn would look like. Russ has done, for as long as Ratter and Wilcox have been working on the property, Russ has maintained the property, and even though his sketches aren't extremely detailed, the boat barn will have the same look and feel as the other outbuildings on the property. That would be my presentation. Thank you.
Very well. We'll start with Mr. Stallstrom. Do you have any questions of the applicant?
No question.
Ms. McCartney?
Okay, on the site plan we have here, the tennis court isn't shown,
No.
and then there's something,
Those are raised beds.
okay,
There's a garden. It's kind of like an English-style garden out back that has raised beds that they grow their vegetables in.
okay, and then there's like something blue here.
It's a boat, I believe.
Okay, so it's basically gonna be pretty much where the blue boat is?
Yes.
Okay. I'm okay?
So what we have really right now is we've got the single-family, is that a single-family dwelling?
Yes, it is.
And we have a freestanding barn and a freestanding garage.
Yes.
So the porch is attached to the residence, and the proposed barn adds 864 square feet of building coverage, right?
It adds 800.
Two.
Yes, you're right, sir.
Okay. Mr. McCarthy, do you have any questions?
I think just a clarification on the two sketches of the proposed porch. I'm trying to reconcile the two in terms of the views. Is it one from the side and one?
The one direct on will be looking in this direction with the chimney on the left-hand side, with showing the screens, and the other one is looking down from the deck toward the chimney.
Okay. It's just screened, it's seasonal use.
No heat, just a screen porch.
Other questions? Sure.
Mr. Delory, do you have a question?
So the screened-in porch is on top of where an existing deck is
Yes.
now?
Yes, it is.
I couldn't I know it's a courtesy to put stakes in, but I couldn't find any stakes for the barn.
The builder, Russ Bassett, did put stakes in. They have been there for quite some time. I saw them there today. They were not,
I mean, I saw a lot of stakes, but they were all over the place.
well,
different-
those were just for the snow plows. There were stakes there. They weren't painted or flagged up, but I visited the site again
I
today.
saw one stake that could have been a corner of a building,
No,
but I would be
that
guessing.
stake was for the snowplow.
Oh.
But there were stakes in the woods. I apologize if they weren't marked up as you're accustomed to seeing them, but relative to the location of the barn, it's proposed to be located, the boat barn, right off the edge of the parking on the site.
Okay, so, I mean, based on your plot plan, it's between the two other freestanding buildings.
That's correct.
Then there's a driveway that goes around these buildings into a lot that looks like it has a house and a barn that also abuts Ori.
Well, it actually has its legal frontage on Ori, and that is his mother's house. But because they own all the property together, she drives through Bob's property to get to her house.
Okay, so there's no easement involved or anything like that.
There doesn't need to be yet. Perhaps someday, if the family sells property, they would have to do that, or a new owner would have to gain access off Orissa Drive.
Okay, that's not Ori Lane or, Orissa, I see, Orissa Drive, okay, I get it. Then just one other little thing. It looks like on this page of the application.
Yes.
Where the calculations are. It looks like you're adding 1,530 odd square feet of building coverage, but I only get 1,088 when I add up the barn and the porch. There's another 450 square feet kind of unaccounted for as far as I can.
From previous applications?
Building coverage existing, building coverage proposed. Unless my iPhone calculator is going bonkers, which is possible.
The numbers on the site plan agree with the numbers on the special permit application. I come up with existing 4963,
Mhm.
and then if I add 224 and 8, I get it's 6051. I think I must have had a senior moment when I was filling out the application. The site plan correctly reflects the proposed building coverage, 6051, and when it would, I think when I completed the application, I transposed the number from 6051 to 6501. That's a mistake on my part.
Okay, so can we change that for the record?
It is correct on the plan, and
Okay. Okay. I wasn't looking at the plan. That should be fine. There it is.
and Mr. Chairman,
So
just
we have a resulting coverage of less than 4.5%.
No, the information on the plan and in the special permit application, everything is correct with the exception of the proposed square footage, where I have 6501, it should be 6051. The resulting percentages are still correct.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
So if
so the
we,
plan's right.
if we adopt the plan, the plot plan dated January 10th, 2013, those calculations are accurate.
Yes, they are. I'm glad I brought my calculator.
Mr. Delory, do you have any other questions?
No, thank you.
Mr. Cole,
No questions.
I'm wondering, is this, the actual use for this new structure will be for a boat? Is there a sense of the board whether there should be a condition restricting use of that building for boat storage? The question has arisen, and I don't know if Mr. Little is prepared to address it. Is there any bearing on this application with the required parking, off-street parking spaces?
It's a residential use, so it's my belief that there is no bearing on parking spaces.
May I ask how many existing spaces or garage and or driveway there are?
I have no idea. I don't believe,
How
I've
about the-
never,
How about the garage itself? Do you know, that's the
there's
barn?
two, I don't know. I don't believe I've ever had to provide parking space information for residential use before.
Pardon me, I'm just asking the existing garage, which.
Has 2 bays,
Two, okay.
and then there's the old barn. And then this will have 2 bays.
I guess I was wondering, since it's being presented as a boat barn, that's the intent of its use?
That's what the family's calling it. I would prefer if it wasn't. They have several boats. It's obviously going to be used to store boats and store sails and things like that, but I would hate to restrict them strictly to using it for nothing but boats.
I guess, can I ask you from the site, well, the photos, I'm not sure about the site plan, would there be an extension of the driveway, or what, access way to the entry of the building?
They may extend the pavement to both doors. I haven't discussed that with them.
What is the driveway now? Is it pavement?
Well, it's, the driveway is shell until you get up to the area around the house and the structures, and then it's paved.
Okay.
So there's a paved parking area, but it's shell driveway, and then the driveway to the mother's house is stone.
Michael, what was your concern, like it could be converted to habitable space or something?
No. I'm just inquiring in general whether the building of this accessory building would have triggered in an additional number of off-street parking spaces. Now, having examined zoning bylaw section 164-34, fairly lengthy section with a lengthy table, this being in an R district, this being a dwelling unit, which does have 2 or more bedrooms, the required number of spaces are 2. In a residential zoning district, the only reference to an accessory dwelling is that of an accessory dwelling, bed and breakfast, in which case the required number of spaces would be determined by the building commissioner or Board of Appeals. Otherwise, the table in an R area does not deal with an additional structure. I think the intent of the zoning bylaw has to be that in an R district, that the number of off-street parking spaces would be tied to the number of people who would be living in the residence. So I don't see where the building of this building for a boat barn triggers in any additional requirement,
It's,
because the residence is still the residence.
yeah, right, there's no additional bedrooms.
So
There's no habitable space in the barn or the garage, correct?
I just wanted to explore that a little bit for completeness.
And conversely, there doesn't appear to be anything that says one couldn't have more parking spaces than exist currently, so.
I'm inclined, myself, I'm inclined not to issue a special permit with the condition that it be used as for boat storage. I don't think that's completely necessary unless there's a sense of the board to the contrary.
Just storage of anything, or?
It's a barn. It's a barn. Today, it's a boat barn, but I think the landowner been sensible with the several special permits in the past, and I don't see any reason to change that. Are there any other questions of the applicant? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of the application? Notice having been given properly, is there any person who wishes to speak in opposition to the application? For the record, there is no correspondence having been received by the board before this hearing, either in support or in opposition to the application. If there are no other questions of the applicant, or is there anyone else who wishes to speak in general on the application? Hearing no positive response, then I will declare the hearing closed and entertain the sense of the board. Mr. Delory?
I'm inclined to approve the application, even though it's possible in the future that these 3 acres could get subdivided to 3 legal lots, and then we'd have a lot of buildings on small lots. But I don't think we can make that condition either.
I don't think so. I mean, the probability of that seems to be fairly slim, the way where the structures are. I know it's a nice large lot. Mr. Cole?
I'm in favor.
Mr. McCarthy?
I'm in favor also.
Ms. McCartney?
I'm in favor.
Favor.
Very well, then I propose that following public deliberation by the zoning board of appeals, a quorum of qualified members being present and voting, and based upon the application of Robert J. Plum III, filed January 10th, 2013, based also upon the site plan prepared by Ryder and Wilcox, dated January 10th, 2013, and the drawings prepared by R.B. and Sons Construction LLC, I move that the board adopt the following findings of fact. 1, the subject property known as 164 Barley Neck Road is shown as parcel 8 on Orleans map 57 and is in a R district. The present use of the property is a single-family residence with a barn and garage. 3, the proposed use of the property is a single-family residence with an attached 14 by 16-foot porch, a freestanding boat barn, and a garage and second barn. 4, the proposed use will not be detrimental to the established and future character of the neighborhood and will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. 5, the construction will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structures. 6, the site is adequate in terms of size and suitable for the proposed use. The site consists of 3.09 acres of buildable upland. The resulting building coverage of 4.5% is below the maximum 15% allowed. 7, the proposed use will have no negative impact on traffic flow or safety. 8, the proposed use will have no negative impact on the visual character of the neighborhood. The property is well screened from both Barley Neck Road and Primrose Lane, and the additions are consistent with the architectural styles of the neighborhood. 9, the proposed use is isolated from, will have no impact on the method of sewage disposal, source of water drainage, or water resources. The existing septic system is adequate in all stormwater runoff is contained within the property. 10, the utilities and public services will be adequate for the proposed use. Eleven, noise and litter will not be increased after the completion of the construction of the proposed use. 12, there will be no adverse impact on groundwater quality and recharge volume and the water quality of coastal and fresh surface water bodies. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And the motion carries unanimously. The findings of fact have been adopted. A second motion. Based on the findings of fact, I move that the board grant a special permit pursuant to sections 164-31A, note 5, 21A, excuse me. And 164-44 of the zoning bylaw to run with the land without any special conditions. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously, granting a special permit to Mr. Plum.
Thank you very much.
Very well. Next order of business is the consideration of some revisions to plans by Kathy Whitaker, case 1936. Specifically, December 7th, 2011, when this board, in its substantially in its present character, including the late Mr. Pearsall, granted the special permit. We have tonight, a letter of correspondence requesting this hearing from the letter dated January 18th, 2013, addressed to the board by Mr. Little, representing the applicant. Could you tell us what we really kind of what you think we need to do, what you want us to do on behalf of Ms. Whitaker?
Yes, thank you. David Little, representing Kathy Whitaker. Also with me is Max Mikowski, who is her close friend and also overseeing the project. So, as is typical with construction projects, there are changes that occur, and Kathy has made some changes to the facade of her project, of her house that's under construction. There have been no dimensional changes in height of the ridge, no changes whatsoever to the site plan, the coverage information, anything from the approved special permit, same number of rooms and things like that. But I went and talked to Brian a while back and mentioned that there have been several changes on the facade. Brian Harrison did not have a problem with the project moving forward, but he said for Kathy's protection, if someone came out of the woodwork and complained that a look changed from the approved plans, he recommended that I come back to the board to discuss these changes in the facade with you. So, that being said, if the board would allow me, I have yet another set of plans, but it includes two additional changes from the letter that I submitted. They're very, very minor.
Very well. Yes, please. Thanks.
If I could go through my letter, and if you could refer to these plans that I just handed out. Things like the lattice at the lower level was replaced with cedar shingles. The original house had a decorative widow's walk with a stone chimney that was replaced with a stone chimney. The cupola at the west end was replaced with a stone chimney. They added an open decorative pergola over the entry stair. They changed the gable roof over the kitchen to a gambrel roof so it matched the east end. They replaced a portion of the solid roof at the south-facing porch with an open pergola. What basically had a covered roof on it now just has slats and it's opened. They simplified the southwest pergola design, and there were miscellaneous door and window changes. The plan that I've just given to you now shows the center chimney being reduced in size slightly, and then it also shows the roof line of the triangular roof right here, which I'm pointing to on the plan, extending up a foot. And originally, I had explained to Max and Kathy that we are restricted to the ridge height on this. The original proposal was that the ridge height of the house that has been removed, the ridge elevation is the same as the ridge elevation on the house before you, which we have maintained, we've certified, everything is correct. So this roof here is proposed to be a copper roof. It's been constructed with a flat roof as shown, but aesthetically, we would like to extend that to a peak. It's not habitable space. It only constitutes 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet square, and it goes up a foot. So that is the additional change that we would like to make to the house. So essentially, these are all aesthetic changes that Kathy Whitaker has made. I think the new design is it's very nice. I think it's more consistent throughout with gambrels rather than the various different roof lines. So what we are asking the board is simply to accept these revised plans under the approved special permit. I really don't think these are significant changes, but we've noted every single change that our client has made, and we just feel that it's appropriate to come back and show them to the board. But the project and the scope of the project has not changed, the intensity of the project has not changed, just the look has changed slightly by these elements.
I could just note to you that there's a reversal of the pages in the handout tonight in terms of,
The order?
yes,
Oh, I'm sorry.
figured it out, so
Okay.
probably everybody else did as well.
Okay.
Which direction is the front of the house?
This
The north?
This is the house that faces Pleasant Bay,
Right,
and this portion of the house, the rear of the house, faces a marsh
okay,
out behind. If you're driving, when you drive up to the house, if you're coming across the causeway out to the property, you drive up to this. This is in the courtyard. These are two garage doors, and then this is an
Okay.
outdoor entrance to come up. And then that would be the other end of the house, which faces the narrow.
okay, thank you.
I might need this explained to me. I'm looking at where this dormer occurs that you want to raise a foot. is on the north facing
That's correct.
elevation.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would seem it should show up on the west, on the east, excuse me. And it should show up on the east exterior elevation and on a side view, but it looks like it hasn't been drawn to be a foot above the other ridge lines on the
Well,
east.
I
Is
don't
that
know.
I'm just trying to figure out
Yes,
what it looks like.
technically, you're probably right. That, he's saying that should appear. Yes, you're right, Greg. That little peak does appear on all the elevations except the west elevation,
The
or
side,
the east.
where you're gonna see it the most, really, is from the side. I mean, that's, you know,
The side when you drive up.
right,
That's correct.
or, yeah.
And elsewhere.
So that should be shown a foot above the highest ridge on the east elevation, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Mhm. If any of you were to visit the site today, you'd see that it's framed with a flat top on it, and it's just, we think it's an appropriate aesthetic change for the house.
See it sticking up.
Could they drop the windows a
Here's the-
foot?
here's the
And
north.
I guess it concerns
We
me
could.
that you're going over the height limit.
We could,
This is
it's
the one
not
you just gave
habitable
us,
space,
so.
and I guess my answer to that would be, the bylaw allows for cupolas, that are less than 16 square feet, chimneys and things to extend above the roof line. And we were hoping that because it's not habitable space, that it's what we term as a de minimis change. I understand your
Yeah, I
your
just-
concern, but that part of it has already been framed, and I would even encourage you to look at it if you wanted. It's got a little flat roof on it. It looks a little funny, so we're thinking that this would look better.
I think it also looks kind of funny with the peak sticking up over the south elevation. That little unexplained triangle.
I think I need some help. You came in sometime in 2012 with some adjustments to
The
the
new architect.
project, and I don't
Yes,
remember,
And you
what did we
you
do?
submitted an amended decision.
Okay, that's how we
Because
dealt with the problem.
Those changes were substantial.
Okay, now, I'm looking at those plans drawn by Architectural Design, which is the same,
That's who the
that's who did,
architect is.
that's who did this, these most recent plans.
Mhm.
What I need to, I don't really see that there's any difference in that peak. Can you point it
Well,
out again
I
on
can.
the new plan?
Yes.
And then show us, if you will, on these,
I can.
where it was different.
This is the plan that was approved under the amended decision. It had this. It was that little room had a different look to it,
Okay.
okay? And they've changed the roof style.
All right, let me just see it. I was looking at,
So this is that roof that was approved by the,
oh, I see.
and now we're
Yeah,
asking
yeah,
to
but-
do that.
Okay, the copper roof and lifting the top elevation about a foot, although it's still
exactly a foot.
well below the chimney height.
How many square feet when you figure when that triangle
6.25.
hits the ridge? And then-
6.25.
Thank
It's
you.
2.5 feet by 2.5 feet.
Really?
Mhm.
Because it looks
By a
very
foot tall.
long in relation to its width.
It's,
In other words,
I spent some time calculating that. This is 2.5 feet wide by 1 foot tall. And if you'd like to use my scale.
by what length, though? In other words, you have
It's a square.
that,
No. It's a triangle.
yes.
On all 4 sides. All it is, it's like a pyramid.
Well, it doesn't look like it's a triangle on this. It looks like it comes straight up as a dormer,
No,
or is it actually like this?
yes, it's actually.
So it's
like-
it's not drawn correctly on the east elevation, so that's why we're having problems?
It does not, it's drawn correctly on the west elevation, and it would look exactly the same as that, but right here on the west elevation.
Is it there or at the ridge? Behind that chimney?
No, but if you're looking at this from the side, it should, see this pencil line I just drew, right, is like this? I mean, I don't see a pyramid anywhere.
This is the side,
Yeah.
and it's hidden from this elevation by this roof line that goes all the way through.
Except
That-
12 inches of it.
Except 12 inches of
height.
it, which would appear just like that over here.
Oh, I'm not looking at the same one.
Approximately where
Yes, you are.
that's.
I'm not looking, this is wrong that this is this.
That is,
I had to cut through some of these.
I thought I had that figured out. I don't see any other standing seam roof on that building.
Well, if it's a pyramid, it makes sense. If it's just,
Association.
yeah.
no, that is a
I
different
thought
roof,
it was
Greg.
just,
And I can show you,
Running around in circles for a while.
so, what's that?
That was the old widow's walk on the other
That?
side of the house. Oh, no, this original design, the roof went the other way.
Oh, here it is again. It's lower.
That was this is not the new one, right? This is the old one?
Isn't it a pyramid
Yes,
on all sides?
This is it, yes. Brian, a question?
Yeah, you're right, it should pop up right here.
Brian, or is it? Can I ask you a question? Do
is
your
Is this the new?
procedures
Yeah, but I want to see the side
include
of it.
like a plan amendment application?
We'll see. See this?
You know,
See how
they've
low
submitted
that
like these, and then they come in and say, I want to do something
This
a
is higher.
little different. And
It's still
here's
lower than the
amendment.
ridge.
Is it generally that as long as it doesn't affect zoning, it's, or building code? And so this could have fit under that except for the concern
It
of.
can't be a pyramid because it's joining this roof.
Whatever it is, it's still below the ridge line.
See, that is shown on a previous drawing as,
We want to put a cupola here, just like.
Technically, if it goes forward,
But he's looking at this one.
that's shown on a previous drawing.
Unless I didn't, yeah.
I don't know either.
Where does that come from?
No. It has to be this roof.
12.7.
Oh, I
Ribs are
see.
going
Oh,
the wrong way.
oh, the ribs are going
That's
the
what-
wrong way.
See,
Oh.
that ridge- This is
Oh.
what it's showing now.
Oh, okay.
This is 12.
So, I was wrong. That's
Right.
the
Is there an
curved
issue on
roof.
the table?
I don't have this figured
I'm just trying to determine when those fellows are
So
fit.
Now that I understand
I
it's
think
a
it presents as
pyramid,
a
it
little
makes sense to me.
What they're doing, it looks like they're
It can't.
this side.
Oh, I see. It comes to a, so this is a cap
That's all it is.
on a
Literally.
square tower?
It's a pyramid, a 4-sided pyramid that's going to be 1 foot tall by 2 feet.
But there's no, is there any elevation that shows the other side of it?
No,
This-
it's missing from there, but that's it.
Oh, okay.
So right on the 4 line essentially.
Okay, so it's missing on the east, okay. Okay. So it's a pyramidal cap,
Exactly,
standing seam roof.
exactly.
Approximately over the middle of the 3 awnings
Yep.
shown on the east, right? And the only way I can figure that out is by referencing these grid lines, seeing that it intersects the 4 line on the west elevation.
Yep, I see now. So
Okay, so it doesn't have a ridge.
there is no ridge.
Okay.
If you were to drive out there today, it's a pyramid.
Okay. Okay, so this east elevation thing is wrong, where we were discussing it before.
It is, Greg, you're right.
Okay, okay. So if grid line 4 is right here, you're saying, Matt?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So I guess
Yes.
to try and make, if I may, to try and make this simpler, Mr. McCarthy was just asking Brian about this procedure, and because there are no dimensional changes and the spirit of the house is still the same, I was hoping that I could just submit these into the record so they could be, then go to Brian, and if we have a clear copy on file that what was built was approved.
So what, assuming that the sense of the board was that the modifications are minimal, then if the boards should see fit to approve the plans, those plans would be those pages A4 and A5 issued for ZBA meeting 2-6-13, the
Yes.
two pages, that would be acceptable, and the project could proceed.
Dated January 7th, 2013, correct?
No, February 6th,
He's reading that.
issued for ZBA,
Oh.
ZBA meeting February
I'm
6th.
having trouble reading this.
I have two pages here, Greg, that
Yeah.
What I was referring to.
2-6-13.
Okay.
I don't know what you have, but I'll circulate this if you need it.
I'm looking at the drawing date, the very small print, which just says January 7th, that's all.
It does, and then there's a larger legend.
Okay. Okay,
Are you up to date?
got it.
Okay. Is there anyone wishes to speak in opposition to the request of Kathy Whitaker? Then I'll close the hearing to the extent that any hearing was necessary. My thinking is that the the revisions in the plans are relatively minor, and that these plans should be approved by the board in addition to the earlier plans. And to the extent there's anything inconsistent, these later plans would control. That's my thinking. Is there any thinking from any other member of the board as to how we should deal with this?
I like the fact that the latest design has decluttered the roof. It's a lot more integrated, and it just reads a lot smoother. And it had a cupola on it which extended, I don't know, how many feet off the ridge line was that cupola? 3 feet, 42 inches or something? Which is going away. And I'd be inclined to approve the new pyramidal roof a foot above the ridge line as an architectural feature, which would be similar to a chimney or a steeple.
Your thinking is that it actually improved the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Any other commentary?
I didn't realize it was a pyramid when I questioned it. It makes a lot of sense.
Then I'll entertain a motion to approve the plans drawn by Architectural Design Incorporated, submitted by Kathy Whitaker through her agent Ryder and Wilcox on January 18th, 2013, with a letter request, those plans being dated January 7, 2013, and also with the legend on the 2 pages, A4 and A5, issued for ZBA meeting February 6, 2013. Does anyone wish to make such a motion?
So moved.
Very well, and a second?
Second?
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Then the motion carries unanimously. That-
Thank you very much for your indulgence, and I apologize for any confusion, Brady.
It was just hard to read. I mean, I think we all had issues. Maybe a roof plan would have been helpful.
Referred to architecture
Thank you very much.
Very well.
first.
Which one?
You want any of this?
Widow's Walk, yeah. So that's what they took off.
These were yours anyway, David. Those are the earlier batch, I think.
Thank you.
Would you like some more of these?
I sure do.
Other business includes a,
David, do you want any of these? This is all the,
Thanks.
thank you.
consideration and approval of the minutes of the January 2, 2013 meeting. Is there any corrections on those minutes? Very well, then I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Very well, in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I have for complete transparency, I have a correspondence dated January 24, 2013, from the Executive Director of CHAPA, the Citizens Housing and Planning Association, Inc., explaining that that organization has been designated as by this board and Mass Housing to serve as a monitoring agent for a Chapter 40B development in Orleans called Wise Living. The report of in summary, the report of the review and monitoring of this agency is that Wise Living has an affordable, 11 affordable units, and has verified that all applicants had household income that was at or below 80% of the area median income as established by HUD for Orleans, and had assets within the established limit. So therefore, 11 applicants were income eligible. The developer has submitted the cost certification audit in April 2007, and the report has been sent to the town in August 2011. Periodically, as the monitoring agent, CHAPA will review refinance requests from affordable unit owners and coordinate any resales, but have not had any requests for those services during the past year. So I take it then those affordable units are within the number of affordable units for the entire town, and therefore count when against the percentage, which Orleans hasn't reached yet, allowing still a vacancy for more development and developers to come in and ask for approval. This is addressed to the zoning board as the ultimate town administrator for 40B, I think. I have one other item of business of the draft of the proposed revisions to the Zoning Board of Appeals application process. I received some and have changed in view of Mr. Delory's thoughtful suggestions. I have reviewed and will resubmit the proposed regulations again. And I think maybe at the next regular meeting, we'll have it out and see whether we should really be doing it. The one suggestion was that exterior elevations should include a citation to the two definitions of height in the zoning bylaw, one being, of course, in the definition section, 164.4, And also, 164-21C has a special height restriction, so therefore, I propose to add a sentence which identify the definitions. The second is when you're referring to floor plans and elevation plans, I've inserted that they would be in minimum size of 11 by 17. That makes sense. And that the floor plans would also include dimensions of length, width, and height. So it is by fully dimensioned, that's the 3 dimensions, so that you have height for the first floor, second floor, something, some
Well-
kind of an indication of what the height, the interior height. Exterior height, we're fine, because we dealt with that in somewhere else. Is that what you had in mind?
That's one way to say it. I mean, I think it's two different things in a way. That minimizes the dimensioning, in a sense. Fully dimensioned would mean, okay, we want to know, like, say a building floor plan goes in, jogs in, and then comes out again. Do we want to see the entire building? Do we want to see those dimensions of you know what I mean?
Well, bear in mind that we dealt with exterior elevation somewhere else. These are floor plans. If you've got height, width, and length, I think you've got everything. That's what I thought you meant by fully dimensioned.
Well, you could take it room by room, or you could, you know what I mean?
Well, it would include that.
But does it kind of say that? I mean, you know, okay, you have a floor plan, it's fully dimensioned height, width, and length. You have one dimension across this way, one dimension down this way, and you know what the
No.
ceiling height is.
No, I didn't think that's what you were thinking, and it wasn't what I was thinking either. Let me go back and take another look at that.
I mean, other jurisdictions where I've worked, fully dimensioned means basically every wall.
I certainly expected that for height and, for length and width. There may be unless there's an odd change, generally, the height would be the same for each floor, but not always.
Well, the ceiling height would be in a sectional view, which we don't require, I don't think. Do we require a section?
Depends on whether it's related to the structural elements of the building.
I mean, for a ZBA application?
I don't know, if I'll get back and look at it.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't think we do.
so what we're really thinking about are construction plans. Construction plans would have those numbers.
Well, you know, for instance, we're in a hearing and somebody says, well, how far does that porch stick out?
Well, that
know what I
number,
mean?
yeah, you gotta have that number.
Yeah, and so if you just say height, I guess you could tie it in specifically with the proposed changes or so, have to be fully dimensioned, which to me would mean every little line and jog and everything on the proposed project.
I agree with you completely. Let me see if I can word that to nail that down. I agree with you.
I still don't understand why we want the height.
Because we have a 30-foot height limit, we have a proposed,
Inside, I'm
times.
talking about.
oh, the ceiling height? That to me is not important.
It isn't.
No,
All right. I thought it was important to you.
I mean, the overall height of the building,
yeah, that's what counts. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think ceiling height is, it's also, a ceiling height is a building code issue. It has to conform.
So you're saying if you have the ridge height, you're good?
Yeah, I'd like to see the ridge height from what they think is the grade that's qualified to measure from.
Yeah, that's required.
Yeah, but a lot of, we don't get that 75% of the time. We get numbers on a site plan.
And just because you say in writing that this is what you want, you're not gonna get it.
Well, it gives us a chance to insist that we have it. I mean, it just makes it
Okay.
so much
I'm
clearer.
just saying, it's in writing now, and, you're not getting it, so.
It's all in that section 5. See if I can clean that up so that it makes a little more sense, because I'm reading it right now and I don't think I can understand it myself. Is there any further business to come before the board? Very well, then we'll, do I hear a motion to adjourn? And duly made and seconded and passed unanimously.
Okay.